Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with Me, and we're going to do our first project using some of the items that came in your April kit. Now the main thing that we're going to be using today is the paper pad. We will use some of the other items later on, but the main thing I'm going to be using is the paper pad. Now I have got a couple of envelopes here, and these didn't come in your kit, but you can use any envelope that you have. You can even make a little envelope and use it, or use a junk mail envelope. Anything like that that you have is fine. You do not have to have the same ones that I have. I just happen to have these laying on my desk, and I thought, I'll just go ahead and use them. These are 5 3/4. These are 5 3/4 by 4 1/2. So that's the size of these, but again, you could use whatever size you have. This doesn't have to be a particular size project. So the first thing that you're going to do, and this is another where I insert the different items. This is another one of those projects where we insert one of the envelope flaps into the other, like that. But this one's going to be a little bit different than the one we did yesterday, because we're not going to make a journal out of this one. Go ahead and peel off that. If yours don't have a peel off, then just put some glue there. I'm going to go ahead and put a little extra glue there anyway on mine. So I want it to glue down well all the way. And then just make sure that it glues down well. That's all you need to do. Okay, and then the one that's in here, I'm just going to go ahead and stick my little pokey tool in there. Now, let's see. Okay. The one that's in there, I'm not going to take that little piece off, because if you do, then you won't have your pocket. It'll close your pocket up, and you don't want that. So I'm going to leave that little piece on that. It's that little white piece. It's not going to show, so I'm just going to leave it on. Now we need to decide. I think I want to take these little pieces off like we did yesterday, because I'm really not going to be using those, and I just think that it looks better with those off. So go ahead. Can you tell that I like doing projects using envelopes? I do. Especially when you have some extras laying around that you don't really know what to do with. And, you know, we all have some envelopes here or there. Even the junk mail envelopes. They work the same way. As a matter of fact, we can, if we have time, I don't know how long this one's going to take, but if we have time, we can do one using some junk mail envelopes. Be the same difference. Okay. So I'm just going to trim those off like that. Okay. Now I have no idea where my little garbage can. Hold on, let me grab a garbage bag. Okay, I'm just going to use this little tin for my garbage. I don't know where my other garbage cans went. Excuse me for a minute and let me breathe. I had to run into the storage building to find something. Okay, now we're going to use this to cover the front. And all of this paper is so beautiful. I don't know what I want to use. Is it not gorgeous? It's absolutely beautiful. And I don't know which one I want to use. I want to use them all. Let's see. I think we'll use this one. And I like how easily it peels out of there. It comes out real easy. Okay, I'm going to have to cut that off, which is fine. Some of them are perforated and some are not. I don't mind if they're not. Okay, slice that down through there. Oh, that is so pretty. Now decide which I want on here, and I think I'm going to put this part right here that has the first class and the little hummingbird. I think I'm going to put that down. This is going to flip up like this instead of sideways. You could do it sideways if you wanted, but I think I want mine to flip up this way. Yeah, I want to have it a little bit different, so I'm going to have it flipped that way. So I'm going to put mine on this way. Now, if you want it to flip the other way, that is perfectly fine. And I'm going to leave just a tiny bit of that brown showing around the edges. And if you're using just a white envelope, which I will use probably to do the next one with, then you can always ink it, ink the edges to cover up that white if you don't want to see the white part. There's always a way to cover something up, isn't it? Okay, where's my mark? Okay, I see it. I see it. Right there. Just a little bit off that way. Okay. Oh yes, that is pretty. Now, you know that I'm going to ink because I like the inked look, and I want to make sure that I cover up any white core. This paper is white on the back, so there'll be some white core. This paper is also very, very strong. Listen, very strong. It's a thick paper. Even though it is single-sided, it's a very thick paper. I'm going to go ahead and ink around all of this on my envelope. And you could, if you don't even want to use an envelope, if you just want to use some cardstock, you can make this with cardstock. All you have to do is fold it up and then put another little piece right here for a pocket. Make it out of cardstock. Lots of different ways you can do this. Like I said, I just happen to have these envelopes laying on my desk, and I thought, well, why not use them? They're laying here, and I just need to get stuff off my desk, so let's just use it. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to ink this side. Okay, there we go. Now, I know, I want to say this before I go any further. I know that the black on this is changing the colors on the screen a little bit because, you know, I have black on my arm, and so the camera is trying to adjust to the lighting. So I'm going to try to keep something black in the screen, so maybe it won't change back and forth. Hopefully I can remember to do that. All right, we're going to put that down right there. And maybe it won't be very many more weeks until this will be off. I think I've got 2 more weeks, and then I can start doing some things with it off. And it's getting a lot better. Thank you guys so much for all of your well wishes and your prayers and all of that. I appreciate it because it is a lot better than it was last week this time. Okay, I'm just gonna press that down, wipe any excess ink off. Ink, not ink, but glue. There we go. Ooh, that hung, didn't it? Don't need that on there. Okay, so there's the front right there. And now I'm gonna go ahead and cover this part right here, and let's see what we want to cover it with. It really doesn't matter because all this paper is so pretty. Doesn't matter what you use. But I think I'll use this one. I have had so many people, so many members that have messaged me and said they absolutely love this paper pad. I do too. I think this is one of the prettiest ones that we have had. I was very excited to get to use it. Okay, right there. So I'm going to trim that off. Okay, now this one will go right there. Let's see, I need to trim it off just a tiny bit, I think, on the width. Yeah, I'm going to trim just a tiny bit off right here. Okay, that's gonna go there, and I want to round these corners just because this little part right here is rounded. Let me see if I can find a corner rounder. I can't find my big one yet, but maybe this one will work. Yeah, that one worked. And that is, I know somebody's going to ask about this. That is an old one that I got at Walmart many, many years ago. I don't even know how long I have had it, probably 15 years or more. They don't sell them anymore. I have looked to see if I could get another, but they don't sell them anymore that I know of. So we're going to put that down right there. Isn't that cute? That's going to be our pocket. I wish they did. If they did, I'd buy up a bunch of them just to have them around here in case I break that one, because it is a nice little corner punch. And you know, for things like this where you don't have to drag out the big one, the big mama. Okay. There we go. Oh, I love that. Okay, that's going to be the front. And that, and then we're going to put a piece right here, and I'm going to put, I won't be able to put that. That won't be big enough. So let's do, we could do the same one, or we could do a different one. Don't have to do the same. Let's just do this one. This is pretty too. I like that one. That's gorgeous. And this just reminds me, I want to see which side, I want this side on, so let's do it this way. This reminds me of the collecting of the bugs and different things like that. I don't know why this reminds me of that botanical, not botanical. I don't know why this reminds me of that kind of thing, but it does. I think because it's got so many insects and things on there. All right, we're going to trim this one out and then round those corners. And see, even these little pieces, I will not throw away. I'll use those for something. I definitely will. This paper's too pretty to throw any part away. Yes, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, so that's gonna go right there. I'm gonna trim just a tiny little bit sliver off of the end because I've got that one cut a little bit longer than I would that one, so I want a little bit more of that brown showing. Just a little bit. There we go. That should work. And all of you who have been messaging me about the AJ kit and the project that we're doing, hang in there. I will get back to it. I have got to finish it. Probably I will have that video up tomorrow. I'm just trying to go back and forth and get as much done as I can. I've got so many things I need to catch up on, so just hang in there with me. I promise the next one will not be like this. Well, I can't promise because who knows what's going to happen between now and then, but if all works out right, it will not be like this. Hopefully I won't get hurt again, and I won't be out of town again, and that kind of thing. I will get the videos done. If we do go out of town, I'll get the videos done before we go. Which I should have done this time, but I didn't even think about it. You know, you don't think that you're going to get hurt. Okay, I like that. Now I'm going to try to ink a little bit right here on that. And then a little bit right here. Just going to hold that up and ink. There we go. So now we have this part, and I'm not going to cover that part. You can cover it if you want with a different color paper. You know, you can slide something in there and cover it. I'm not going to worry about it because I'll show you what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I am going to cover the back because I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to use this. You could use it for a card and send it as a card to someone, or you can use it in your journal. So I'm going to go ahead and cover the back, just because I don't know how I want to use it yet. Let's see, what will I put on the back? This is very pretty too. Well, I haven't seen a piece in there that's not pretty yet. Let's see which side. I think I want the floral side on, so let's do it this way. And I got smart and started flipping it over and marking it on the back side. I know I heard you guys yelling, mark it on the back side, then you can see. I heard you yelling at me. Right there. And trim this little piece off. How are you guys anyway? I hope everybody is good. And I just wanted to tell you guys, you are the sweetest subbies that anybody in this world could ever have. You are. I know that nobody has as good a subbies as I do. You guys, I've read in the comments, and you're always helping each other and helping each other with links and all that kind of stuff. And that helps me out so much. And it just makes me proud that you don't mind stopping and helping a neighbor. I love that. Alright, isn't that pretty? You could really use either side. Oh, okay. Now what we're going to do is, we've got all of it covered. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some pages in here. And this is going to be like a little pocketed flip notebook. So let me grab some pages. Let's see. These are just little half sheets that I save from our printer when we print something that doesn't take a full sheet. These are just little half sheets that are left over. So I'm going to use these, and I'm going to have to cut them off, and that's fine. So this is just a regular copy paper is all this is. Where's my little bone folder? So let's see what size we would need. I am thinking, let me mark about, I don't want it to come all the way to the end. I'm thinking about right there. And then I'm going to trim it off just even, and that's going to be good enough. Okay. So what we're going to do is trim this off this way. Oh, I let it slide. Let's see if that works before I cut any more. Yeah, that works, but I am going to trim it off on the ends too, I think. Let me think a minute. Okay, so I think what I'll do is I'm going to trim it off up here at the top. Just going to trim it about right there. It's right at 4 inches. And then I'm going to do this one that way. So right at 4. And then I just need a few more. Okay, I think that is going to be enough pages right there. So these are just separate pages, and I've cut mine at, let's see what size these are. I've cut them at 5.5 by about 4 1/8, but you could cut them at 4, would be fine. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to find a couple of clips. Where are my clips? And I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to glue this little notebook together. Just take your glue and run it across the top. I try to keep them closed as tight as possible. And then I just take my finger and I work that glue in like that. And make sure that it kind of goes down in there in your pages just a little bit. And then I put one more coat on there. One more light coat just down the center. Like that. Work that in. Then I'm just going to take my little clips, and you can do any kind of clips for this. And you're just going to clip that together. And it will dry in just a couple of minutes. So we're going to lay that aside and let that dry. While that is drying, we're going to cut a little piece of chipboard. Now this is just a piece of chipboard that I got off of the back of a notebook. You could use any kind, cereal box, any kind of chipboard. It doesn't have to be real thick. As a matter of fact, it really needs to be pretty thin. And you just need to cut it right below where your fold is. And then you're going to cut it the same width as the paper. So we're going to cut it that width right there. And let's just make sure that that's going to work. Okay, I'm going to cut it off just a little bit more. You really don't want it taller than your paper, so we're going to cut it off just a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to trim this off to the same size of my paper. Okay, I'm just going to hold this up and make sure that it's the size that I need, and it is. Now what we're going to do is take a little piece of this paper, just a little scrap piece. You can decide which one you want to use. I think I'll use this little piece. And I'm just going to trim it off. Trim this little top piece off right here. And then I just want to trim it the length of this. Right there. There we go. Right, and then what you want to do is you want to score this kind of in the center. So I may wait till these come off and then I'll show you exactly what I mean. But what we're going to do is this is going to wrap on the front side of the paper here. And then it will wrap around to the back of this and it'll close our paper in. So that'll be a little notebook. And I think this may be dry enough that we can... Oh yeah. It's not completely dry, but it's dry enough that we can fool with it. So a lot of times I just hold it up like that and look at the back and see if it's about even. Now if you want to do measuring, you can. It doesn't matter. Sometimes I just don't want to measure. I don't want to get anything out. So I just hold it up like this and just give it a little fold. And then I just kind of look at the front and make sure that that looks pretty straight, and it does. And then you just want to fold that around like that. So there we go. Then what I will do is I'll put this piece up there and just make sure that okay, now while I've got that like that, I am just going to put a little bit of a crease in there. It doesn't have to be creased all the way, just a little bit. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it on here, and I'm going to glue that to the front of my little notebook right there, and then to the back of this. And that's going to hold my little notebook and my piece of chipboard together. Okay, so we're going to hold that like that first. Make sure that we've got it pretty well straight. Now you could make this decorative if you wanted. You could do some scallop edges on it or whatever you wanted to do. I'm just going to leave mine just as is. It's going to be fine with me, just like that. Okay, so that's got that held. Then we're going to flip it over. Now, when you start gluing this back, you're going to run some glue right down in that crease. Make sure that you get a good amount in that crease because you want to hold all of that paper in there well. And then some right down through here. And then you're just going to press it over, press it down. Then you're going to take your bone folder and just do that number right there. Just press in on that so that that glue will adhere to all of that paper. Okay? Just like that. So there is your little paper pad. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of ink on the edges. Just because right here I didn't get it exactly straight, and that will be fine. No problem. Doesn't have to be straight, does it? Now we want to put a little something right here. And I don't know if I have anything in here that I can cut out and use there or not. Or if I could just use a little piece of scrap. Let's see. See what we have. We've got some pretty pieces here, but I don't know. Okay, I think on the bottom here, I'm just going to put a little butterfly. So let me get my butterfly book. What little butterfly? I don't want a big one. Just want something that will match. There we go, right there. The first one I pulled out. That never happens. But it will go with that, so that works great. Go ahead and put a little glue on there. You don't have to put anything on this little notebook. I just felt like I wanted to on the front sheet. Or you could stamp them if you wanted to. There we go. Then up here, do we want to put anything there, or we just want to leave that as is? I think we'll leave that as is because I love all of that vintage writing there. Now, you can take this and insert it, if I can do it with my left hand. Insert it right down in there. I'll get it right in a minute. Oh, come on, you can go. There we go. I knew it would go in there. It just took me a minute to get it going. I'll pull it back out just a little bit. I don't want it down too low. There we go. So there's our little notebook. Closes up really well. Now, if you wanted to, you could put a little tie on this. Some kind of little closure if you want to do that. I'm going to leave mine as is because I'll slide this down in a card. But let's see if we want to do anything to the front. I don't want to cover any of that up because I think it's so pretty. Do we want to do anything? Let's see if we want to put another butterfly on. No, not that one. Maybe this one. I should have saved those butterflies out that Betty just sent me. The ones that she fussy cut. Let's see. I don't know what I put them over there. They're away from me. I'll have to get up if I go get them. That one would be pretty. Let's just cut that one out. It's going to take me a minute to fussy cut it. But I'll just zoom on through this and I won't make you watch me. Because it takes me just a little bit, and then sometimes I still don't get it cut right. All right, there we go. Let's see. How do we want to position him? I think maybe right there, just coming into the flowers will work. So let's put him down right there. Okay, and then the only other thing I'm thinking is maybe a little tag or something right there. Not a tag, but a little label. Let's see, do we have one that we can use that's not too big? These are Tracy Fox labels. And let's see. There's one that says pollinate. I kind of like that one on there. I need to print more of these. I've just about used them up. Or there's one that says woodland. That's a little bit smaller. Let's see. I think I'm liking that one. Let's use that one that says woodland. And then we're going to ink around it to darken it up a little bit. There we go. Yep. I like that. Okay. All right, guys. That is the first project with your E-Club kit for April. Now, you could keep going on this, keep embellishing, add lace and trims, all kinds of things. Make it your own. But that just gives you an idea of what to do with 2 envelopes and then your paper pad and just some scrap paper. All right. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Oh, and we do have about 8, I think, of the E-Club kits for April left. I will be loading those up this afternoon. So if you want one of those, then make sure that you go over and grab it pretty quick because they usually don't last too long. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.